Huh? What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Ogreboy. I'm going to be doing my review for the 1993 movie Jack the Bear. So, in this movie, Jack is living with his father John and his brother Dylan, and they're trying to move on from the death of the mother of the family. She died in a car accident, and they're trying to move on and everything, and getting used to living life with a single dad and everything. And it mostly follows his relationship with his father and his brother, and he kind of has a strained relationship with his father because his father is the reason why his mom had left that night, because they had a big argument and she had left, and that's when she got in the car wreck and died and stuff. And so he kind of has this love-hate relationship with his father and everything throughout the whole movie. And there's this subplot with their neighbor who is a Nazi and kidnaps his brother. And this movie has a lot of really crazy twists and turns. But I've always thought this movie was pretty good. I liked it a lot more as a kid than I do now. Not because it's necessarily aged bad or anything. It hasn't really aged bad. It's not one of my most favorites because it's really kind of sad and just not as fun to rewatch and everything. It always kind of has it has a somber tone to it, and it's always kind of depressing every time I watch it, so I don't enjoy it as much as I used to. I will say that Danny DeVito was amazing in here. I think this is one of my favorite performances of his as an actor. I think he was just absolutely great as John in this movie. And I think both kid actors in this movie, especially Robert J. Steinmiller Jr. as Jack, he just was absolutely perfect in the role and gave a really great performance. One of the best child performances from a child actor. And Miko Hughes, who has been in was in a lot of good stuff as a child actor in the late 80s and early 90s, like Pet Sematary and Kindergarten Cop, and he was on Full House and Wes Craven's New Nightmare. He's been in a lot of good stuff. He's really great in this movie too. As Dylan, he's really young in here, so he doesn't really get to do a lot, but he's really good in his role, like he always was as a kid actor. And everything, I think they're all good. And then you got small roles from up and coming actors. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, I think she might have been already started being around and everything because of Seinfeld, but this might even be before Seinfeld started, but I think it was during Seinfeld. But she's not in it a lot, but she's great in here as a teacher in the little bit that she is in it. And Reese Witherspoon has a small role as Jack's love interest, Karen, and she's really good in here too. She only is in here for a little bit, though. She's not in this movie very much. She's a really small role, but she's the main reason I got this movie and watched it and decided to review it this time when I rewatched it. But this is one of those movies that I have a mixed feelings on. It was one of my favorite movies as a kid because of somebody that I used to watch it with that I don't really like having any memories with because of things that happened with him. I don't enjoy this movie as much. I'll just say that. Because of that, I don't enjoy this movie as much, but it is still a really good movie. It has a really good story, and like I said, really great performances, especially Danny DeVito. I don't know that I'd say this is my very favorite movie of his or anything like that, but it is one of my favorite performances because it really is just a smaller scale story he doesn't really have to act a whole lot, but his acting is really good in this movie, and you could tell he was really passionate about the character and did a good job playing him and everything, and he brought the emotions that the character needed down really well and everything, so I enjoyed him. And the cinematography in here is pretty good. It has some pretty decent cinematography, and the score by James Horner is pretty good too. personally, I feel like the score is better than the movie itself. But yeah, so I enjoy Jack the Bear. It's not my most favorite movie ever, but it is still really good. It's one of those that I watched as a kid that I enjoyed a lot more as a kid. Watching it now as an adult, it's kind of depressing, and it's not as fun to rewatch, but it's still an alright time, and it's worth checking out if you're into slice of life movies and stuff. This one's pretty good. It has some pretty crazy twists and turns, especially with Gary Sinise's character. And I almost forgot to mention him in this movie. He plays this Nazi guy, and he's not in the movie very much, but whenever he is on screen, he is creepy as heck, and he does a really great job playing a villain. And that's one of my big negatives of the movie, though, is I feel like he was kind of shoehorned in and everything, and he wasn't very well written as a villain and everything. But I think that his performance was great. Gary Sinise was great in this movie and everything, and I think he could have been even better if they would have gave him more to work with. But I feel like they should have just made it. He was already a threat in this movie, but I feel like they could have done a little bit more with him, make him a little more threatening. But yeah, so all in all, I really enjoy Jack the Bear. I think it's a pretty good movie. It's not as rewatchable though and everything, but it's definitely good for watching every once in a blue moon and everything. It's not one that I like to revisit very much because it's subject matter, and it's kind of a sad and somber, depressing movie and everything, but it's fine for what it is. So I'd say I'd give Jack the Bear a 7.5 out of 10. Like I said, it's got great performances and a good story and everything. It just could have been a little bit better. There are things about it that I don't like. And like I said, the person I watched it with and everything as a kid kind of has ruined my taste for this movie. But yeah, so anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of Jack the Bear, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.